From the dark days of 1940 to the final bombing raids over Germany, the Royal Air Force fielded one of the most diverse and influential air fleets of World War II. Fighters, bombers, reconnaissance aircraft, maritime patrol planes, and experimental designs. Britain's aircraft shaped the air war across Europe, Africa, and Asia. In this video, we present a complete catalog of the most important British aircraft actually used in World War II, tracing the evolution of the RAF from biplanes to some of the most advanced piston-engine aircraft ever built. Fighter aircraft. The Shield of Britain. Supermarine Spitfire. Mk Mk-14. The most iconic British aircraft of the war. Entering service in 1938, the Spitfire's elliptical wings gave it unmatched agility. From the Battle of Britain to the final days of the war, successive variants upgraded engines, armament, and altitude performance. Early versions carried 8.303 machine guns, while later marks mounted 20mm Hispano cannons and Rolls-Royce Merlin and Griffin engines. The Spitfire served on every front and remained in production throughout the war. Hawker Hurricane. Often overshadowed by the Spitfire, the Hurricane actually accounted for more enemy kills during the Battle of Britain. Rugged, easy to repair, and stable as a gun platform, it excelled at destroying bombers. Later variants served as fighter bombers, ground attack aircraft, and even carrier aircraft as the Sea Hurricane. Hawker Typhoon. Originally designed as a high-altitude interceptor, the Typhoon struggled early on but found its true role as a devastating low-level strike aircraft. Armed with 420mm cannons and later rockets, it became one of the most feared tank killers in Normandy. Hawker Tempest. An evolution of the Typhoon, the Tempest was one of the fastest piston-engine fighters of World War II. It excelled at intercepting V-1 flying bombs and dominating low to medium altitude combat against late-war German fighters. Boulton Paul Defiant. A unique turret fighter armed with a powered dorsal turret instead of forward-firing guns. Initially successful against bombers, it suffered heavy losses once enemy fighters adapted. The Defiant later found use as a night fighter. Westland Whirlwind. One of the first RAF fighters armed exclusively with 420mm cannons. Fast and heavily armed, but limited by engine production issues. Despite small numbers, it proved highly effective in ground attack and bomber interception roles. Night fighters and interceptors. Bristol Beaufighter. One of the RAF's most versatile aircraft. Used as a night fighter, strike aircraft, and maritime attacker, the Beaufighter combined heavy firepower with long range. Armed with 420mm cannons and machine guns, it was deadly against bombers and ships alike. De Havilland Mosquito night fighter variants. Nicknamed the Wooden Wonder, the Mosquito was built largely of wood to save strategic materials. As a night fighter, it used radar to intercept German bombers and later V-1s. Its speed allowed it to outrun most enemy fighters, an extraordinary achievement for a twin-engine aircraft. Bombers. Britain's strategic hammer. Vickers Wellington, the backbone of early RAF Bomber Command. Its geodetic construction gave it remarkable strength and survivability. The Wellingtons served in bombing, maritime patrol, and training roles throughout the war. Handley Page Hampton. A fast, narrow fuselage medium bomber used early in the war. Though quickly outclassed, it served in bombing, mine-laying, and torpedo operations. Armstrong Whitworth Whitley. One of the RAF's first heavy bombers. Slow and outdated by 1940, it nevertheless carried out night bombing missions and airborne troop drops early in the war. Avro Lancaster. The most famous RAF heavy bomber, capable of carrying massive bomb loads, including the 4,000 pounds Cookie and later the 12,000 pounds Tall Boy, and 22,000 pounds Grand Slam bombs. The Lancaster spearheaded the RAF's night bombing campaign against Germany and carried out legendary missions like the Dam Busters raid. Handley Page Halifax, the Lancaster's main partner in Bomber Command. Though not as celebrated, the Halifax flew thousands of sorties and served as bomber, glider tug, and transport aircraft. Short Stirling, Britain's first four-engine heavy bomber. Limited by its low service ceiling, it was eventually withdrawn from bombing duties but remained valuable as a transport and glider tug. Multi-role and strike aircraft. The Havilland Mosquito, bomber and strike variants. Few aircraft in history were as versatile. The Mosquito served as bomber, pathfinder, reconnaissance aircraft, night fighter, and precision strike platform. Its speed allowed it to conduct daylight raids without fighter escort, something almost unheard of in World War II. Ferry Battle, a light bomber already obsolete by 1939, suffered heavy losses during the Battle of France, but continued service in training and secondary roles. Ferry Swordfish, a slow biplane that became legendary. The Swordfish disabled the Bismarck, attacked Taranto, and operated from carriers throughout the war. Despite its outdated appearance, it proved devastatingly effective. Ferry Albacore, a modernized successor to the Swordfish, used in torpedo and reconnaissance roles. Ferry Barracuda, the Royal Navy's first monoplane torpedo bomber, played a role in attacks against German battleships, including Tirpitz. Short Sunderland, a massive flying boat used for long-range maritime patrol and anti-submarine warfare. Nicknamed the Flying Porcupine due to its heavy defensive armament. Transport and support aircraft. Douglas Dakota C-47, used extensively by the RAF for transport, paratroop drops, and supply missions. Played a critical role in D-Day and Operation Market Garden. Airspeed Horsa glider, a wooden assault glider used to deliver troops and vehicles directly onto the battlefield during airborne operations. Experimental and late war designs. Gloster Meteor, Britain's first operational jet fighter, entered service in 1944 and was primarily used to intercept V-1 flying bombs. The Meteor marked the dawn of the jet age. From the fragile biplanes of the 1930s to the jet-powered Meteor, the RAF's aircraft defined the air war over Europe and beyond. Each design reflected Britain's ability to adapt, innovate, and endure under immense pressure. Together, these aircraft formed one of the most influential air fleets in military history.